I feel that my reputation today was cleared. That is why I came. I have given 20 long years of clean, competent and patriotic service, and I was extremely aggrieved by the actions that were taken, and today I feel like my reputation was cleared, and for me that is a victory.
And that's the end of that, at least for now. It took Senior Supreme Court Justice John Isaacs just over an hour and a half to read his judgment to the attorneys in the judicial review proceedings involving Cheryl Grant-Bethell. You may recall that the veteran prosecutor initiated proceedings after being snubbed for the Director of Public Prosecution's post last year. The position was instead given to Jamaican attorney Bennett Graham-Allen. Now, Justice Isaacs said while he could not make a determination over Mrs. Graham-Allen's appointment, during the entire process, Mrs. Grant-Bethell was treated unfairly. He went on to explain that, quote, the decision taken by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, or JLSC, affected Grant-Bethell's advancement in her chosen career. The JLSC, the public body responsible for all judicial and legal appointments, appointed Mrs. Grant-Bethell Deputy Law Reform and Revision Commissioner, a post which Justice Isaacs said he's still uncertain whether she is properly qualified for. Now, the judge also noted that the decision was flawed. He went on to explain that the court found some difficulty in determining the case, considering that the JLSC failed to keep proper records. He said the court should not be burdened with piecing evidence together. Representing Mrs. Grant-Bethell was attorneys Maurice Clinton and Wayne Monroe.
It goes a long way to vindicating the right of Mrs. Grant-Bethell, right? What, in fact, he eventually did, and we will have to confirm this when we come to see the ruling, was to find in several parts in her favor, but staying his hand insofar as granting her the particular relief which we were claiming. It's difficult to say what we will advise her or what she will instruct us to do. But the judgment, as was read to us, opens up several possibilities, and all of them really encouraging as far as we're concerned.
I say that the one thing that comes out in the judgment is the judge, in his prologue particularly and during the judgment, spoke to inappropriate things that took place in the system, as you would have heard, reports being shared with persons who they shouldn't be shared with. So for that matter, when one examines his judgment, the Prime Minister of the Bahamas is not to have any report that goes to the JLSC. And so he should have no basis to be saying anything. And when you read it, and as the press, if you read it, you should pay particular attention to where he is saying that public bodies are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and not acting in the way that they're supposed to be acting, which in fact then causes some of this to come about, people having to challenge them to demonstrate that the rule of law is still alive in the Bahamas.
Now, Mrs. Grant-Bethell thanked her legal team for its hard work and dedication. And as for what's her next career move?
And in terms of my future career path, as my lawyers say, that is a matter that we will now review.
Representing the Attorney General's office was Brian Sims QC. The JLSC was represented by Thomas Evans QC. As for cost, all the attorneys will return to court next week to make their respective submissions. For JCN News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.